Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're tackling a really big idea, a revolutionary concept from Japan's Digital Architecture Design Center that could literally change how entire industries share data forever. It's called the Uranus ecosystem data spaces.
So here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll look at the big problem they're trying to solve. Then, we'll introduce this new data ecosystem, walk through its core principles and how it's built, and wrap up with some amazing real-world examples of it in action.
Okay, first things first. Let's talk about the massive problem the Uranus ecosystem data spaces, or ODS for short, is designed to fix. And honestly, it's a headache that pretty much every modern business is dealing with.
I mean, it's a huge paradox, right? We're living in the age of data. It's supposed to be the new oil, the most valuable asset for any company. But the reality? Most of that data is just locked away in these digital silos. It makes real collaboration, real innovation between companies almost impossible.
And this diagram from their white paper just nails it. It shows the whole messy reality of data collaboration. On the left, you've got the journey a data user has to go on. Finding the data, getting it, trying to actually use it. And on the right, 13 huge roadblocks. You've got the data provider worrying, hey, can I even trust this person with my data? Then there are issues with the data itself. Is the format right? Is the quality any good? It all adds up to this massive innovation-killing bottleneck.
So how do you break that deadlock? Well, that brings us to the solution. A totally new kind of data ecosystem. One that's been designed from the ground up, specifically to build trust and make sure everything can work together.
And that solution is built around this concept called a data space. Now, the two most important words here are decentralized and common rules. This is not about one giant company controlling everything. No way. It's about creating a level playing field, a fair and secure space where everybody can join in.
And this is a really crucial point. ODS is not some giant central database where everyone dumps their data. Think of it more like a digital customs union. It doesn't actually hold the goods, the data. Instead, it creates a shared set of rules and protocols so that data can be traded safely and securely between different participants, just like goods moving across borders.
Okay, so for a customs union like this to actually work, everybody has to play by the same rules, right? So let's look at the fundamental principles. These are basically the rules of the road for this whole new data world.
At the heart of ODS are these 7 core principles, all bundled together here in this shield. Now, you probably can't read the text, but it's the ideas that count. They cover everything from secure data transactions to keeping the design simple and flexible and making sure the community is open. But the real cornerstone, the most important principle of all, is ensuring data sovereignty in a decentralized system. All of this together, that's what builds the foundation of trust.
Let's zoom in on that one for a second. Data sovereignty. Because this is the absolute game changer. What it means is that you, the owner of the data, always get to decide how it's used. You control who sees it and what they can do with it. This completely flips the script on the old model, where big central platforms held all the power. It puts the power back where it belongs, with the people and the organizations creating the data in the first place.
And this chart, it shows you exactly why that control, why data sovereignty is so incredibly important today. It's showing the evolution of where value comes from. Over on the left, it was all about hardware. Then in the middle, it shifted to software. But now on the right, we are in a data-centric world. You can see that the data layer, that pink section, has become the biggest source of value, so you can see why controlling it is everything.
Okay, principles are great, they're the why. But what about the how? How does this all work on a technical level? Let's pull back the curtain and look at the actual blueprint for building this system of trust.
So this is the ODS Reference Architecture Model, or RAM. And yeah, it looks a little complicated at first glance, but it's actually super logical. On the left, you've got these 4 distinct layers. Stacked on top of each other, each one handles a specific job in the data sharing process. Then on the right, you have 4 perspectives. Think of these as rules that cut across all the layers. Stuff like security and governance, things you have to think about every step of the way.
Here's an even simpler way to think about it. The layers are the what. They're the functional pieces. You have a semantics layer that defines what the data means, an identity layer that confirms who you are, and so on. The perspectives, on the other hand, are the how. They're the rules that govern the whole system, like how services are provided or how trust is built to maintain.
And here it is. This is the big payoff. Remember those 13 challenges we started with? The ones that cause all the headaches? Well, this diagram shows you exactly how the ODS architecture is purpose-built to solve every single one of them. You can literally trace a line from each problem on the left to the specific layer or perspective on the right that fixes it. So for example, problems about meaning get handled by the semantics layer up top.
Issues with who are you and are you allowed to be here get solved by the identity layer. It's a really elegant, systematic solution to a massive systemic problem.
But, this isn't just some theory on a whiteboard. The most exciting part is seeing how this is already being used out in the real world to tackle some huge challenges. Let's check out a few examples.
Okay, first up, green traceability. With all the new regulations, car companies now have to track the carbon footprint of an electric vehicle's battery through its entire life. With ODS, you can create a data space where all the different companies, from the mining company to the battery factory to the car maker, can securely share just the carbon data needed. This gives regulators the transparency they need, but without forcing any one company to hand over all of its secret operational data. It's brilliant.
Or how about air mobility? Picture a future where multiple companies are flying delivery drones all over the same city. It could be chaos, right? Well, ODS lets them create a trusted data space to share flight plans and reserve airspace in real time. What you get is a kind of automated, unified air traffic control system for drones. It prevents collisions and lets a whole new market for drone delivery grow and thrive safely.
And this last one is it's so practical and so important. For our cities, this tech lets different utility companies, we're talking power, gas, water, internet, share the exact location of their underground pipes and cables. Just think about how many dangerous and incredibly expensive accidents this could prevent when construction crews start digging. It's a huge deal.
So, let's wrap this up. What are the big takeaways here? The core idea is that ODS isn't about building another giant platform to hoard data. It's about creating a common rulebook. It's a trusted, standard way for entire industries to finally work together and unlock all that value trapped in their data. And, this is the most important part, all while making absolutely sure that the data's owner always stays in control.
And that really leaves us with one big question to think about. For so long, the biggest thing holding back collaboration wasn't a lack of data, it was a lack of trust. So now that we have the technology to share data securely while giving the owner complete control, what impossible problems can we finally start to solve?